What's going on with the truckers? So I don't want to waste your time with this video. There are over 70,000 truck drivers that are waiting to hear if the Supreme Court will listen to this case. Well, here's the thing. There are 19 cases that they will listen to thus far. And so far, the AB5 is not one of them. So I don't want to scare you, but the Supreme Court looks at about 80 to 100 cases a year. So there are more cases that they will look at. But as of now, I guess we're going to have to wait. This AB5 law has so many people confused. Like, what the heck is this law and why do so many truck drivers in California care about this? So basically, let me read this to you so you understand, and then I'll put it in layman terms so we really understand this. So basically what it says is it's a California law that restricts businesses from classifying workers as independent contractors rather than employees. So what that comes to with the trucking terms is if you own your truck, if you don't, but if you're leased onto a company and you're using their authority to run your business, you're not getting benefits and you're 1099, then yes, you are a contractor for the company. Now, here's the problem with this. There are over 70,000 truck drivers estimated that are part of this situation. And so this AB5 law affects them. You know, how did this even come to play? Well, what happened was the gig workers, the Uber and Lyft drivers, they were protesting and they were so pissed off that they were not getting any benefits and they were making less than minimum wage. And they felt that for what they were doing for Uber and Lyft, that they deserved to be employees. And so the governor signed in 2019 this law to basically say that, look, we have to figure out the classification, and they do that by these three prongs, and they call it the ABC. So just to not confuse you, right, we're making this easy. Definitely, there's a lot of companies out in California that this affects. Okay, most people bring up the question, why not just get your own authority, right? It only costs a couple bucks. Well, maybe that's true, right? There's a lot of mega carriers out there like Knight, Swift, Warner, CR England, Western Express. I mean, you name them, you know, I don't even recommend you become a lease operator for those types of companies. Okay, but for other type of industries that are more difficult, they need this business model. For one, the port drivers. I would say pretty much 90% of port drivers in California are contracted to somebody, or somebody has a bunch of contractors on them. And so this will destroy the port drivers in California. If you thought there was a supply chain issue before, there will definitely be a supply chain issue with this AB5. Here's another company. You've heard of FedEx. Well, a lot of their drivers are independent contractors. You know, FedEx believes that by doing that, they'll get more out of a worker because they'll have them run harder, and supposedly the driver will make more money and they'll get more efficiency out of that driver as well. You know, other companies, you know, Landstar, you know, we talk about this. I was a mover. In the moving industry, there's not just load boards that we could just jump on. There's an agency that we work under, so we're leased onto. Yes, we might own our truck, but we are leased onto the agency, and the agency is the one that helps us book the loads. So all the movers in California, they're going to be screwed. You know, so there are over 70,000 people that are screwed with that. Now, here's the thing about this. We were waiting till June 24th to see the information, to see what the Supreme Court would say. So let me give you a little bit of detail on this so that you have a better understanding, right? First off, the Supreme Court will see about 80 to 100 cases a year. Now, there are over 7,000 to 10,000 cases that are petitioned that already were laws that people are petitioning for Supreme Court to listen to. So that's a small percentage that the Supreme Court will look at, and they need at least 4 of those judges to make that. Now, here's the thing about this. When you look at that, how many cases were heard last year? There was actually only 61 cases heard last year. So we are at where we are at today, and people are getting nervous. They're calling me and saying, Alex, I've heard all this news about Second Amendment, Miranda rights, all these things, and I didn't hear anything about the AB5. Before that, I don't want you to be nervous about this, but I actually went on the official Supreme Court cases, and it actually says that the Supreme Court is seeing 19 cases thus far. Well, the California one is the Ninth Circuit. Well, under that, they're only seeing, as of now, 5 cases. These are the cases right here. And when I read them, none of them is about the AB5. But that doesn't mean that they might not hear it. There's still a chance. So that's where we're at with this now. So I don't want you to be, so scared you're not hearing about it, that there's no chance and your job is in jeopardy. As of now, we're going to put a pause on that. We're going to hear back. I'm going to talk to Greg, the director of the CTA, and see where we are at. But as of now, that is your update. We were hoping that right away they would just have it up there and we can know that, hey, there's a chance. But I guess we'll still be waiting. Mother truckers, comment down below.